At least the waiting room is empty. Other than Mom. I said at least the waiting room was empty other than you.
Yeah.
Phoenix looks so excited. Doesn't she? She was like, Mom, you just stuck a camera in my face. What? Yeah. It's like 20 to 7 in the morning. I am so thrilled to be awake. Not really. Hey guys, it is Saturday, about 3. Sorry I didn't vlog much on Thursday. I'm not even sure I vlogged yesterday at all. So I know it's all covered up. Sorry, that bug bite. But I got my port Thursday. And I was gonna vlog it, but there really wasn't much to vlog. And there was a lot of freaking drama. Let me turn my headphones on so you guys can maybe hear me a little bit better. That should be better. So, I mean, it was kind of a long day and rough day for me. So, we had to get there at like, I think check-in was like 6:30. I know I vlogged a little bit that morning. But then, so we checked in, we got there, all that was fine. Then it was kind of weird. Instead of like taking the papers to the pre-op like we normally would have, that window was closed, so we just kind of had to wait for somebody to come get us, which I swear we sat in the waiting room for an hour. So then we got back to the pre-op area, and I had told them, I have really bad veins. You might want to call the IV team because up until this week, I'd gotten my fluids here. They always had to call the IV team. And I told him, I have POTS, and the nurse is like, oh, cool, I know a lot about POTS. My sister has POTS. And that shouldn't have kind of put me at ease, but at the time it did. Because I was like, oh, cool, like you rarely run into people that, know about your conditions. But she's like, oh, let me do this trick to try to, get the IV in. And I think I took a picture of this. I may have vlogged a snippet of it. She pulled out a bear hugger, which at the time I didn't recognize what it was until I was already having problems. It's something that they use for people with hypothermia. Basically, if you think of a space heater connected by like a dryer duct, basically blowing up this inflatable blanket. Well, within 30 seconds, I was already like really overheated. And I told the nurse, because I was really starting to not feel well. I told her if I get much hotter, I'm going to pass out. And she's like, oh, just let me know if you get too warm. I'm like, what did I just do? And I'm like, okay, well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I kid you not, we have this go back and forth 4 times before she goes, all right, well, are you? I'm like, yes, that's what I've been trying to tell you. So finally she shuts it off. I don't even know what my heart rate was. Like I was not okay at that point. So she never took it off me, but she turned the like heat blower part off. So that was drama number 1. Then we were trying to figure out, because the way Juno did it, pre-op and post-op was the same department, so it wasn't a big deal. Well, at this hospital, it's 2 different departments. So I'm like, okay, how are we going to do this? Because it's not like you can just put all my stuff in a bag. I have my dog, I have my wheelchair. We need to figure this out. And so they go talk to somebody and they come back and they're like, well, you're not really being sedated. We're not, you're not going to go to PACU. It almost sounded like they might bring me back to the same department. I didn't know, but anyway, they went and got someone who actually knew how to move power chairs. And they're like, we're just going to put it at the nurse's station. It'll be fine. Oh, yeah. So, and I made it clear to them that as soon as I got out of the OR, I needed to have my service dog back, because due to my issues, I do not do well without my dog, and I do a lot better when I have both my dog and my mom. A long story I may go into in another vlog, but it's a mess. And they're like, yep, no problem. And the other issue is I do not just put all my things in a patient belongings bag. There are certain things that I leave with whoever is handling my service dog. My med bag, my cell phone, things like that. So I went in. The procedure itself went a lot better than I expected, given that I have had a lot of problems anytime I am conscious in an OR. I probably need to do that in a separate, story time video. But long story short, I have a hell of a lot of what I call OR anxiety. I know, Phoenix, I'm okay. I just generally don't do well. I've had panic attacks in the OR. I've had local anesthetic not work properly, or it wear off and the doctors not be aware of it. So going into the procedure, I was already very stressed. So they brought me out of the procedure, and turned out they took me to the post-anesthesia care unit anyway, which is where they told me they weren't going to take me. Settle, Phoenix. And so as soon as they brought me out, I asked them, I said, can someone please go get my service dog? And the nurse, I think, got a little snippy. And I don't know if he didn't know about if service dogs were allowed or not. So he asks the nurse in the bay next to us, do we allow dogs? Well, instead of saying service dogs, he said dogs. And she got real mad. And she was like, of course not. And at that point, I don't push I need my dog unless I'm really not okay. And at that point, I looked at him and I said, well, according to ADA, if it's not an OR, there's no reason that she wouldn't be allowed. He got mad and got really snippy. He's like, we're not doing that right now. Or we're not going there right now. Something to that effect. And it was like, oh, this is not going to be good. Well, the room didn't have a radio. It didn't have a TV. It didn't have anything. So I said, well, then can someone at least go get my cell phone? And they're like, well, it's in your bag. I said, no, my mom has my cell phone. She also has my dog. They refused to go get my cell phone. So I was not doing well. I'm lucky enough in the fact that worst case scenario, not having my dog, I'll pass out, dissociate, or have a massive panic attack. Nothing in a medical setting, nothing life-threatening would happen. But they didn't know what my dog alerted to. How they have no way of knowing that. If it had been Colleen's dog, she could have had a seizure, a low blood sugar, or a heart attack, or a stroke for that matter. It's something that they need to take, semi-seriously. The guy finally did call Mom and say, because he was right at the foot of my bed when he called, and I said, oh, I'll come out and get the dog in 5 seconds. Well, 5 seconds turned into 20-25 minutes when they were actively discharging me, okay, here, you can get changed and leave. And it's just I don't know, when I've made it clear to people all along that, there are things that need to be taken into consideration, it didn't make things, it made things harder. And I mean, the excuse I kept getting was, oh, it's busy, there's not enough room. She's 4 pounds. Seriously. So, I don't know. I know we are going to be writing a letter because, and it really ticked me off because the day after, so yesterday when they called to do the standard day after follow-up call, Mom was trying to explain how things went and whatnot. She couldn't even explain everything before she could even hear somebody standing behind the nurse on the phone telling him to end the call. And it's like, oh, so you really wanted to know how things went. You really wanted to know whether I was okay or not. Like yesterday I was having bandage issues, and so she was talking to him about that and trying to also tell him, you know, what was going on. And it just, yeah, it was a mess. Like, I don't even personally choose to use this hospital. It's the one insurance insists that I use. So, it's just a mess.